Sabaha everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about a motorized gimbal from MOZA. This is not like any of the other ones that you've seen before. It has wireless charging, it has a full-size USB port for charging it as well, but it also has a mode that's called the Inception mode that allows it to go 360 degrees spin mode to give you some really interesting footage out of a motorized gimbal and your smartphone. This is TK, let's check it out. Pretty simple as far as the box. We get a picture of the gimbal itself. We have wireless charging, which is what we talked about. Intelligent control, which is going with that dial, and we'll get a chance to check that out. Inception mode, that's that 360 degree mode that I showed you guys. Built-in camera app, so we are able to use their app or your own app if you'd like. Track shooting, as far as basically subject tracking, and it does it really well. And then of course live streaming mode, in case you want to use this to be able to do, let's say, live streaming off your device. Here we have the gimbal, nice soft cushions here inside to be able to protect the gimbal itself. There is no assembly needed, everything is pretty much assembled for you right there. But real quick, we do have a micro USB to USB type A to charge. We have a chamois to clean it up and keep it running. And they do include this little nice mini tripod. It actually, that's what you saw in the picture on the box. And it kind of looks really cool. And the benefit of this is that you can not only mount this, and we'll hold this, we'll keep mount it on the back, or you can mount it at the bottom. Now at the bottom, this really becomes very functional because that becomes a very nice stable position for it to be able to put it down whenever you want to be able to do those tracking shots. They do include some stickers, some information as far as how to get in touch with them, a quick start guide, and then there's a pamphlet here. I'm not sure what it is. It looks like the inspection for quality assurance. And here we have the gimbal, the star of the show. On the back, we have a USB port, micro USB. This is how you charge the battery that's built into this device. And it will not only power the actual gimbal, but you're able to charge from it, as we're going to be using the wireless charging. Switching it a little bit to the right, we have a power and standby mode. So press and hold will turn it on. Touching it once it's in on mode, it goes into standby. Touching it again, it goes back on. So this is so you don't waste a lot of your battery. Spinning it slightly to the left, we have some LED indicators, a joystick to be able to basically control the different motions. So it's basically either pan and tilt or whichever one you'd like. We have a little jog dial to be able to zoom, a shutter button to be able to not only take pictures but initiate video as well, the ability to go into media as well as switching cameras angles, and also to be able to go into that Inception mode. You'll see that little circle right there. And of course we have the ability of basically doing pitch focus or yaw focus, which enables us to basically lock one of the two axes. Now moving up the gimbal, you'll notice there's the MOZA Mini-Me. This is the wireless pad, so the power does come through directly from the battery into this, and it will charge anything that is compatible with Qi wireless charging technology. We have a stop right there, as well as rubber stops on the top and bottom with grooves, so that even if you have buttons on the side of your phone, it will not initiate them. It'll basically hold the phone in a really good steady position. You can switch it over to be portrait mode or keep it in landscape mode, depending to your preference. Pad itself does not go forward or backward. This is pretty much the distance. So for me, if I'm using this with my this is basically the Note 9, I'll basically set it up, open, and align. And it pretty much just balances right away for me. There's no issues, and I don't have to worry about balancing anything else. And of course, turning it on, I just have to turn on the power. Before we go too far, you're able to mount a microphone either on the top or on the bottom, depending on your orientation. And as I mentioned to you guys at the beginning, there is a full-size USB port here in case you want to charge your device using a USB cable. Now, as you can see, it's pretty much stabilized right out of the box. I don't have to do anything else. I didn't even actually turn it on and connect it to the actual gimbal yet. So you install the application directly. There's information in that packet that came with it. And then you go ahead and connect it via Bluetooth, and that's how the connection is going to go through. And at that point, all the controls that you have here will start working directly with the application. So let's go ahead and check it out on our Android device. So the app you need to download directly from the Play Store. It's called the MOZA Mini-Me or the MOZA Genie. It does show that you can see it. I'm going to say connect. The gimbal itself right now is in standby mode. That's the reason why the lights are on and it's not really doing anything. I'll be able to jump into it. You can go directly into gallery and you can see some of the footage that you've done, and we'll get a chance to check those out. Again, I took this with me to IFA and it's been just amazing. Going into the camera application is pretty simple. You just go in and it takes you directly into the actual setup. As far as the information that we have here, we have the ability of going into settings, switching the camera between back and forth, going into gallery, switching between video and photography. And the cool thing about it is this button here will initiate both depending on the mode that you're in. And this is basically tracking mode, where you're able to basically select a certain person. Now, obviously this is not the right thing to do, but once you have a subject in the camera, either the front or the back camera, you'll be able to basically track them, and as long as you have these positioned in a right spot, it'll start panning and tilting and recording your subject and following them, even if they go all the way around. Going into the setting, by holding and pressing the setting gear, you have the ability of switching camera, be able to go back, basically setting up the level, as far as for also the ability of setting up flash, anti-shake if you want it, shooting mode, of course a professional mode if you'd like it. You can also check into the resolution. You're able to record up to 40K at 30 frames per second if I'm not mistaken here with this app, although if your phone can do better you can always switch over to that. Last but not least, we have the mode, and then of course original and an infinity for focus points. Triple pressing whenever the actual gimbal is turned on, so we'll initiate wireless charging on the pad itself. It does take a little bit of a second and then it'll turn on starting the wireless charging option. And as you can see right there, wireless charging. Now my phone is almost charged 100%, so it's not going to need that much, but it's really nice, it's very easy. And again, if your phone does not have wireless charging, just use that full-size USB port that you have on the side. Okay, so now we're outside and I'm going to be testing out the face, well, basically face tracking. The ability to putting it on a tripod or a stand with the way it is right now on top of my car and being able to move this way and where the camera will follow me. And the beauty of this is obviously it's tracking to my face. You set the tracking feature on it, and I'm using the front-facing camera. So hopefully this is a good enough example of how this is going to work. It's great for when you're doing basically photography for yourself, by yourself, and you can put the camera on a tripod. And it just works really, really nice. Now we're going to go ahead and do a quick, what they call the Inception mode video real quick on shot on one of the LG G7 phones that I have. So now for some quick selfie action. I'm using the front-facing camera on my Note 9, and the main benefit, of course, is all of this is stabilized. I can go straight, I can tilt my arm a little bit, and I can go forward, and again, it just focuses on me. Lost focus for a second there. Let's stop, give it a second, and it's back. I can also do focus on it, and as well as lock the actual image itself. Now this is different than when I'm actually tracking my face. This is entirely controlled with my hand. I can go forward all the way, bring it in, move sideways. As you notice, it kind of tries to compensate, but otherwise it stays on me. So now I switched it over to the back-facing camera. This is when you want to use the higher-end sensor on your device. So the main benefit, of course, is all of this is controlled with the joystick. I changed the actual scene from the front to the back-facing camera, triple pressed the actual centering option to be able to switch, to have it go backwards for a backwards selfie. There's a bird up there. And then, of course, I'm pretty much centered. Now, I can't see myself, but I have to trust that it's aligned correctly and that I'm actually being recorded correctly. So the next mode we have is the pitch and yaw mode, and this is really functional for if you're trying to follow or basically just do like pan shots straight. You can come down, it keeps the same position, you can come back up, and then of course using the joystick you can do a nice little pan shots this way and then back up, back up, back up, and then that way you can get your entire subject fitting in the actual shot. What is a gimbal test without doing a quick running test? So I'm going to do a quick sprint just to see how the actual image stabilization goes through. And just turn around, do it one more time. And it's not bad. I did lose focus slightly and then now I'm back, but overall, as long as you stay within a certain distance of the camera itself, it should be pretty good. As far as the setup, the way I've been using it, I took this with me to IFA and this was just an absolute breeze. I was doing my Instagram stories, I was doing just regular pan shots, again B-rolls for my videos that I did for Pocket Now. But the main benefit, again, if I want to be able to go into landscape or portrait, it's easily switching between the two modes. Very simple, tilting the hand and it recognizes and the motor adjusts. Now, speaking to that motor, after 5 to 6 minutes worth of usage, you are going to get a little bit of heat around this area because of the fact this is where 90% of the work is being done. You don't have to stabilize this, right? You just plug in your phone and you put it on and you turn it on and it just goes stable right away. Inception mode is really by far the best feature I found, under $100 because no other gimbal that I've seen before, not even the ones that had wireless charging, could actually do this. And that's the ability of just spinning your device in 360 degrees and getting you that nice little kind of like spiraling zooming effect. And like I said at the beginning, the best pro tip I recommend you doing is shoot the video in reverse, meaning start on your subject really close and then start doing that spin and walk away ever so slowly. And that gives you the ability of basically reversing the video and making it look like you did it basically perfectly the first time. For me, it took me a few times to be able to do that shot with the G7 that I showed you guys. Other than that, I think this is a really cool deal. Under $100, can't really beat it. Wireless charging, wired charging, stabilizer, really good. Software works for both Android and iOS. And that little mini tripod that comes in the box, I think it's just priceless. Like and subscribe as usual. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you very much for the support. I'll see you guys in the next video.